The Oklahoma City Thunder have the best record in the National Basketball Association, but do they have, maybe, the best player? Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort. Joining me now, as he does every week, Sean Devaney, our NBA writer, who's throwing elbows. And I got to ask you, who's your MVP right now? Is it maybe Kevin Durant, or is LeBron James still the guy?
Yeah, it's really been LeBron James's award to lose throughout the course of this year, coming in as the defending MVP and certainly with the numbers that he's posted so far, 26 points and 8 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, those are pretty good numbers. But what's happened is that the Heat in general have gone into a funk. They've gone 6-6 over their last 12, and meanwhile, Kevin Durant is just playing better and better and better. He took over the lead in the scoring chase last night with 35 points against the Clippers. He's now averaging 29.5 points. If you look at his shooting percentages, he's over 50% from the field, over 40% from the three-point line, over 90% from the free throw line. He would be the only scoring champ in NBA history to sort of meet those three, the holy grail sort of shooting percentages. If he were able to do that, I think you've got to look at him as the MVP, especially given the fact that he's playing on the best team in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? And speaking of pretty good, a lot of us thought the Celtics would be pretty good this year. They've now dropped 4 in a row. Kyrie Irving dropped 40 on them last night in Cleveland. What's going on with Boston? I hear a lot of Celtics fans saying, blow this thing up. What's wrong with the Celtics, and what should they do about it?
Yeah, Danny Ainge came out last week and basically said, look, we're not going to make any trades. We're going to let this play out. They had been playing better. They had won 6 in a row. They turn around and they lose 4 straight, including a completely lackluster effort in Detroit. And then they follow that up with, as you mentioned, the loss to Cleveland. These aren't the powerhouses of the Eastern Conference, that's for sure. So for the Celtics to lose to those teams, there's got to be an effort component. And right now, that is what Doc Rivers is having the biggest trouble with. It's really showing up on the defensive end. The Celtics do play a slow brand of basketball, so they don't necessarily give up a lot of points, but they're allowing their opponents pretty easy baskets.
Is this a fixable problem with what they have on the roster, or do you feel there are some pieces that are missing right now?
No, I think when you look at it, the one thing that they could use is another big man. But I guess you could probably say that about the other 29 teams as well. But that's been the one problem for them, is finding the right guy to put with Kevin Garnett up front. But when you look at the roster, it's a better team than what they had last year. And last year, of course, they wound up in a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and were right there with the Heat in terms of being able to go to the NBA championship round. There's no reason that they shouldn't be right up there as the number 2 seed, right behind Miami. Instead, they're the number 8 seed.
Yeah, not where you'd expect them to be, certainly. And, of course, Dwight Howard, all last year we heard about him and the now Brooklyn Nets. He ends up in L.A., and now we're hearing about Howard and the Nets again. Now, recently, I guess the Nets have said we're not interested in pursuing a trade for Dwight Howard. But what is going on here? The Lakers not performing as expected. Is Dwight Howard going to end up in Brooklyn?
Yeah, let's make sure we understand that this isn't talk that's coming from the Lakers. It's not talk that's coming from the Nets. It's talk that's coming from Dwight Howard's corner. He's obviously not happy in Los Angeles, not happy with the way things have gone. But the Lakers, look, they traded away Andrew Bynum in order to get Dwight Howard. They put a lot of stock in this guy and hoping that this experiment would pan out. They're going to let it go. They're going to let it see how it goes. Now that doesn't include Pau Gasol. They'll probably trade Pau Gasol by the trading deadline. But Dwight Howard is going to stay put. They're going to see this thing through. They're going to hope that they can start playing better and see some improvement by the end of the year. And then they'll make a decision when he's a free agent. Now at that point, you might see Dwight Howard be moved. You might see Dwight Howard, with free agency in his corner. He'll have a lot more leverage. He'll have a lot more say over where he might wind up. But for now, there's no question that the Lakers are not entertaining Dwight Howard. Trade scenarios, a lot of that is coming from Dwight Howard.
Well, if it's coming from Dwight Howard, it doesn't sound like the best thing for the Lakers in terms of turning this thing around at all.
No, and it's not. But they're like I say, they're committed to seeing this thing through.
Gotcha. All right, they're going to keep their powder dry. Listen, Sean, thanks so much for your time today. We'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, thanks, Tom.